NSFW. What's the worst thing you have witnessed at a bachelorette party? Went with the boys to a strip club down in Mexico. We were watching two girls rub whipped cream all over each other. When we heard a scream, we all looked up and one of the girls came running out of the bathroom yelling in Spanish. One of the girls had just died of an overdose in the bathroom. Several men went upstairs, picked up the girl's limp body, and carried it downstairs and out the front door. All the girls were shaken and crying. Then the boss called them all into the back room while we all sat around gaping at each other. 5 minutes later the girls came out with fresh makeup and smiles on their faces, acting like nothing had happened. We all got so creeped out we just went home. I was at a bachelor party at a house where they brought a couple of escorts over. They were dancing and doing some party tricks in the living room, including shooting ping pong gonads into a bucket. The bucket kept getting moved farther and farther back, so the girls had to push harder and harder to launch the gonads. At the end, one of the girls was trying to set a new personal record and ended up blowing explosive diarrhea all over the carpet. By the time this happened, everybody was completely sheet-faced, so instead of properly cleaning it up, my buddy just threw some old towels over it and we kept on partying. His fiancée was pissed because they ended up spending a fair chunk of their wedding gift money on new carpet for the first floor of their house, since the Itsta never came out of the Berber carpet. Okay, so I'll clarify a little. The girls were shooting ping pong gonads from their pussies, but apparently when you do this you flex the same muscles that you would when you're going poop, so that's how the girl ended up sheeting all over. Got back to our room after. Someone made tea for everyone but put milk in mine. I don't take milk in my tea. I thought you were about to say they put the milk in with the tea bag first. I nearly broke out in a cold sweat. Guy passed out from drinking too much tequila. We found him in the bathroom asleep with his head in the toilet and ants crawling all over him. The night of my bachelorette party, which was very tame and pretty lame, a few of us decided to go out to the bars. We witnessed another party where there was a group of about 20 or so girls who were hammered. The bride seemed more messed up than the rest of them. She proceeded to call over the waitress and they started flirting. Like a lot. They went into the back office and started moaning super loud. I could only guess what was going on. My friends and I watched in horror. Then she announced to everyone at the bar that she couldn't get married because she realized she was a les. My night turned out to be pretty entertaining, but once in a while I think back to that girl and wonder if she went through with it or not. At my bachelor party, my friend was complaining about his girlfriend the whole time. He got plastered. Found a girl and they went to a coat closet to maquille it. She leaves him there because he was creepy. Eventually we got a call from security to pick him up in a wheelchair. We wheeled him back to our hotel room where he proceeded to go take a sheet and pass out, cracking his skull against the bathtub. I got to take an ambulance ride. 10/10 would do again. Groom was getting married at 1:30 p.m. the day after his bachelor party. As expected, the groomsmen took him out for some heavy drinking. He woke up the next morning in a hotel room to a 10 a.m. wake up call, with a sincere wish that he enjoyed his stay at the Kansas City Holiday Inn, faked by a friend. The best man had prepared ahead of time by picking up phone books, stationery, those local events and attractions flyers and magazines, notepads and other items from a hotel in Kansas City, and substituted those materials for the ones for the Chicago hotel that they dumped him at. Of course he checked the desk, found the Kansas City phone book, and panic ensued. I was at a strip club where they had one stage that everyone could sit around. They had one show at a time and each one was themed and pretty awesome. There was a Batgirl that rode a little Power Wheel Batmobile on the stage. There was a classic Victorian girl. Bunch of cool performances like that. One girl came out and was doing a fire show. She poured a ring of fire around the stage, was twirling fire batons. Then she pours alcohol in her mouth and goes for the breath of fire, but when she blows it all out, some of it splatters on her face and her face catches on fire. Bouncers start rushing the stage. A bunch of us jump up out of our chairs to help. The dancer is slapping her face and manages to pat out the fire. then throws up her hands in air to say she's okay. Everyone hesitantly sat back down and she finished her show, while the smell of burnt hair permeated the place. We all put pity money up on the stage for her, but when she was finished she just grabbed she stuff and left. I think she was okay. Definitely missing some eyebrows and bangs though. Drunken backwards somersault off the 3rd floor balcony landing in the concrete basement landing. C6 and T1 and 2 fracture leading to becoming a 20s paraplegic. It just got real in this thread. Damn. Buddy's bachelor party. His brother is present. Entertainer is putting on a show. Inserts a test tube with a shot of tequila into her dirt star. Then pulls it out. Apparently so someone can take the shot. Bachelor's brother steps up. Takes test tube. Sucks the outside clean. Then does the shot. Plenty of WTF faces all around. I wasn't there to witness it, but my husband not only had to pay for himself at his own bachelor party, but had to spot for at least 2 of his groomsmen, including the best man. They went to their normal bar, and then bowling. One of my husband's groomsmen woke up at 6 AM the morning after the bachelor party and made a large, delicious bacon breakfast, for himself only. Enough to wake everyone up so they could watch him eat before cooking for themselves. Rented a cabin in the woods and had like 30 dudes there for my buddy's bachelor party. After about 36 hours of drinking and drug use we got some escorts up there, basically strippers that are more frisky. We are all hammered and the 2 girls give my buddy who is getting married the best dance I've ever seen. I probably would have came in my pants. After about 10 minutes of dancing they suddenly take his pants down and he was as soft as Play-Doh. In front of everyone. Was just too wasted to respond. The collective groan from everyone at that moment is something I can still hear today. I watched a bachelor party at a strip club. The bachelor was totally wasted. Strippers got him on stage. Put him in a chair. Handcuffed him to the pole and then drew all over his face and chest with Sharpies. Can't imagine what the wedding was like the next day. Who the duck has a bachelor party the night before the wedding? Someone who's asking for it. Bachelorette party. Happening at a sports club that was playing football on TV at the time. They had a stripper come in and oiled himself up. Had squirty cream. Bride eating a banana from his underwear etc usual bachelorette stuff. Except the whole time in the middle of it was this old man sat on a bar still watching the football. He was there before they turned up and was too stubborn to move. So he's there with his pint about a foot away from this oiled up male stripper. Eyes glued to the screen refusing to move. Edit. Spelling. We were in a bachelorette party bar crawl in Austin. TX. Wound up spending most of the night partying alongside a bachelor party. Got way too high that night and passed out early. Woke up to find one of my friends passed out naked in the sofa with the groom. Our hotel room phone was ringing. It was the rest of the bachelor party, who had been trying to locate him for hours. If there's a Jonathan Anderson in your room, make him go downstairs. We have to go back to Ohio. I walked in the living room of the hotel. Yelled John. Your friends are gonna leave you here. He jumped up. Grabbed his boxers. And literally ran out the front door without a word. He got married 6 days later. Do sharp. Edit. I used a fake name. Groom was not actually named Jonathan. We went on the Thursday before the Saturday wedding as this was allegedly the best night at local strip club that was notorious around town. We considered it a kind of gag trip. This one girl who was really trying hard on stage tosses her panties at the groom-to-be and hits him square in the face. Fast forward to Friday and the groom has pink eye. He's freaking out. He's drunk. He demands that our buddy punch him in the eye thinking that a black eye could conceal the true sin and offer a more wedding-friendly excuse. He took the hit like a champ. The bride was furious but the wedding went on. TLDR. Groom got pink eye from a nasty stripper and got punched to cover it up. Bachelorette party near Columbus, Ohio. Typical redneck Ohioans. Girl does a copious amount of shots and then goes shooting. Ends up shooting her neighbor's cat because she was so hammered. Girl gets arrested. Wedding is postponed due to illness. Last I heard they were still married happily. Guy was a very down-to-earth dude. Girl was a bottle of hellfire. Work weekends in my neighbor's pub. This is rural Ireland, but we get stags and hen nights from the nearest city quite a bit. Once had a stag do where someone managed to catch a deer and attempt to bring it into the pub. Deer was a young stag. Rammed one guy against the wall, breaking 2 of his ribs before bolting back into the night. Another stag do saw a guy pass out while playing pool, but in the process of faceplanting the pool table managed to hit the black ball with a cue and potted to win the game. I will never understand this shit about going out and cheating on the person you're going to marry. Right before you marry them. Let's just separate in 2 groups and get lap dances and duck other people and not tell each other about it. Let me get some STDs real quick before this commitment thing, honey. At the end of my dad's bachelor party, his friends thought it would be a good idea to strip him naked, put him in a shark cage, on a trailer, and drop him off at his mother-in-law's house. I obviously didn't witness this, but have heard the same story from too many of his friends for it to be total bullshit. Was prepared to go for a night out for a pub crawl. But all we got was that the bachelor just wanted to stay at home and play video games all night. Dude, we can get fucked up and snort coke off a stripper's tits anytime. But once I'm married, I'm never gonna get to do this again. So sit down, shut up, and play some Mario Kart. My buddy passed out on the toilet while eating made chickens and taking a dump. So, a typical Tuesday night for some of us. I paid a stripper $260 and typing that into the ATM was the worst thing I saw that night. Had a mass trip to Vegas where it was supposed to be a multi-day bachelor party. Bride-to-be figures she wants to do the same and goes on the same weekend. Same flight. First night was great as the bachelor and bachelorette parties were separate and had its own plans, but the bride lost it in her party, and from the next morning on, she didn't want to be away from her fiancé for a single moment, thus ruining the rest of both parties. Also, one of the guys the next day violated the bro code and told the women every detail of the bachelor's party. We were at a bar and had the back room reserved to us. Stripper comes in and dances for the groom-to-be. Then a few of us step outside to have a cigarette on their unfinished back porch, and one of the guys fell off and into an oil drum filled with kitchen waste grease. Up to his waist in grease. I go over my sister's house to pick my fiancée up from her bachelorette party. The whole bridal party is wasted and my sister is the most drunk out all of them. I walk into someone puking in a trash can. Shortly after I got there, I pissed my sister off to the point she starts hitting me. Mind you, my sister is 4 foot 10 inches and I am close to 6 foot. Another husband of a drunk bridesmaid picks my sister up to carry her away and she kicks him in the nuts. She then goes back to punching me but slips and falls into a table. TLDR, my drunk sister picked a fight with me, a buddy of mine, and a table. She only lost to the table. I was in Mexico surfing and the house next to my friends was a rental and there was a bachelor party staying there and the bachelorette party was a couple streets away having separate fun. Well, me and my friends were drinking beer around the fire out back, and at about 1 AM the bachelorette party thought it would be funny to surprise the bachelor party in their underwear and funny hats they found. Turns out the bachelor party was more of just order a hooker for each dude and most of their significant others were the bachelorette party, so I don't think the wedding ended up taking place. Friend's bachelorette party in Montreal. Watched a male stripper take precum off his big dig with his finger and stick it in a girl's mouth without asking. We noped out of there soon after. Too young for a bachelor party, but I never miss the story about my uncle who was a smoker, and during the party a few days before the wedding the stripper they hired took his smoke, stuffed it into her cuter and smoked it the he took, and with lots of cheering and drinks he smoked the rest. Well, the wedding rolled around and he had a massive cold sore on his lip. We still blame it on stripper cooch. I'm probably not the only one who has ever seen something like this, but I was a manager doorman at a decent strip club and witnessed firsthand a bachelor party of nice, clean-cut young yuppie types come rolling in, high-fiving and partying. Nothing new. They paid cover and almost immediately hit the exit door 30 seconds later. Bachelor first with all his buddies behind him. Some looked odd and they were punching the others on the arm and telling them to shut the duck up. The last ones were dying ducking laughing. They had walked in and the dancer on stage, who had just went out for her very first time after secretly being a waitress for a few months, was pulling off her top in front of her horrified brother the bachelor and every dude she grew up with. She cried and cried and quit immediately. I gave the guys their cover back and they vanished, only to show back up after a little while and give the sister a ride home. It was ducked up, but we still laughed about it after work that night. Got invited to a bachelorette party of one of my friend's friends. I'm a guy, and no, I'm not the gay friend who wasn't going to go. But my heavy introvert friend explained she needed me to bail her and a couple other introverts out of the thing partway through. I say fine because they bribed me with food. Was a pretty big party in a massive house, so I was happily downstairs away from most of the noise. Notice turns out there were a number of guys who were invited. Odd but not unheard of. Half a dozen male strippers arrive. I think this is my opportunity during the distraction to get my friend out. All the guys get called upstairs and the bride is sitting on a stool topless. Apparently the plan was to have her blow jerk off every guy there plus the strippers and get proper icing before she got married because she didn't get enough action before getting hitched. Noped out with friend. Told groom what went down. Marriage called off. Small part of me regrets not staying, but the lack of STDs is probably an indication of doing the right thing.